Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Sunday Adelaja here. Good morning. Charles Smith, did you notice the lateness? Not good. 3 minutes late. Not good. But you know what? I'm afraid we might be experiencing a few of those these days. Because these are not going to be days of regular programs. You know, we are combining everything with HMT and reconstructing, rearrangement of things. Not like so predictable like I used to be by myself, just coming here, put the thing on, and we're on. But now, got to think of where to get somebody to sit down. Or like today, before I showed up, the chairs were moved. Somebody thought, you know, I was going to do the same thing as last night. So, yeah. 3 minutes is not too bad, is it? Do you think it's bad? Some of you are just coming in, so you might be even more late than I am. So 3 minutes is not bad. Yeah, 3 minutes is not bad. I see them, they're just coming in, so I don't think they... Yeah, it doesn't appear they mind that 3 minutes late. It doesn't appear they mind. It doesn't appear they mind it. Oh, yeah, somebody is trying to flatter me here. He said, you are looking younger by the day. Are you sure? That would have been a good one for a lady. Ladies want to look younger. That would be a good one for a lady, but I've been looking for some gray hair for some time now. I can't find them. It's coming too late. It's coming too late. One of my trophies that I've been looking for is to get gray. I want to be all gray by the time I'm 50. Only have 7 months to go. Maybe Shinwe could give me some of hers. Can we do some transfer? I've always been dreaming of having gray beard. All gray beard and gray hair. Ooh, I like it. But I don't call it gray. I call it silver. That seems to be more honorable to me than the gray one. Want to be sliverish anytime. I want to go silver after 50, you know. It's been one of my secret dreams, but it's no more secret. Everybody's hearing it. My church members know. They know that I've been waiting for that great thing. But I now discover that it doesn't follow. The fact that you are 50 doesn't mean you've got to be gray. It's not working out for me. It's not working out for me. But somebody told me I could get some paints, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, paint yourself gray. Okay, welcome everyone. Today, not today. Somebody can't catch it on my joke. All right, yes, today, not today. Here we go. First of all, as I'm welcoming all of you that are coming in, maybe you want to as well. We all want to welcome you with some of the participants for the HMT that are already here. You know, let me give them the honor of acknowledging you guys and greeting you. So you see, I told you about improvising. You want to greet our people?
Yeah, my name is Ronke Abayadiko, and I welcome everyone this morning.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Olutonyo Guwamoju.
You want to greet
From
them?
England. Hello.
You already greeted them, really, but sometimes I like to pull people's legs, you know. Yes.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay.
Welcome. We trust God for a wonderful time this morning. God bless you.
Amen.
Good morning, everyone. My name is John, and I warmly welcome you to this program.
Yes.
Hello, family. It's Davida Yemiakale here from London, England, and it's great to be here with Pastor Sunday and the team here on the ground.
Are you a little bit African today?
African in what sense?
I thought that attire might remind me of Africa a little bit, no?
The attire.
Hello, and you French.
Bonjour Clément, c'est une bénédiction d'être ici, de se réveiller à Kiev et de vivre ce programme en direct. C'est réellement une bénédiction et que vraiment vous soyez bénis d'être connectés avec nous de là où vous êtes. Dieu vous bénisse, excellent week-end.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Hey. Don't tell me you are cold.
No.
We don't want.
Morning, everyone.
We don't want you to be cold.
My name's Kevin, and I'm excited to be here.
Hello everyone, my name is Lola Sharon Kerr and I'm glad to be here.
Hello everyone, this is Ladi Shankar from California, USA. Nice to see you all.
Good morning everyone. This is Chinwe Live and Direct with Pastor Sunday. Hope to see you soon. This is England representing.
Hello,
доброго ранку всім. Мене звати Олена Стебельська, я з України.
Okay. You have to speak loud now.
Hello everyone, I'm Jonathan from Canada.
All right.
Hi, Carolyn from Los Angeles.
All right.
Hello everyone, I'm from Canada. My name is Efraín. Welcome to be here, and I'm gonna say in Spanish. Bienvenidos, y estamos aquí con ustedes.
Amen.
Hello, my name is Samson from Dublin, Ireland. Thank you.
Oh, people fell in love with you yesterday. Thanks to your wife.
Hello, I'm Tega from Ireland. Welcome back.
Hello, I'm Sade from London. It's great to be here.
Sade, that's the same name as the famous singer, isn't it?
Yes.
Ooh, wow. Did they confuse you people? The generation, the gap is too much? Yeah, Deji.
Hi, I'm Deji and I'm from London. Hi, everybody.
Thank you. Okay. They are in a Holocaust. You guys are a Holocauster, isn't it? Like experiencing time with Pastor Sunday is not always predictable, is it? You're having the time of your life. You have a lot of stories to tell when you get back home. Okay. Thank God that we're joking around now, because from Monday it's going to be hard work. Compensation. Oh yeah, so yesterday I started a message, what every man wishes to tell his wife. What every husband wishes to tell his wife. What every man wants his wife to know. And that's what I'm going to be continuing to talk about today. This is a very important question. Yesterday morning, it raised a lot of discussions, maybe a little controversy, and just for ladies getting to know the nature of men. And some ladies were a little bit crossed at the things we were telling them about men. But these things I'm going to be telling you, it's not that I'm like that, but the only reason I'm not like that is because I worked on myself to change my perspective and to train myself to understand the nature of ladies better, and as a result, be able to teach other people as well to understand women and to relate to them better. But what I'm going to be teaching you is not where I am, it's not what I know, it's going to be where most men in the world are, like 90% of men in the world, what they say. And it's most likely some of the men that you are going to be having things to do with, they will still be in this place. So it's better for you to know what men are thinking and what every man wishes to tell his wife. So what every man wants to tell his wife. And yesterday I told you the first one, which is every man is screaming, trying to tell his wife that, you know what? Hey, wife or lady, listen. You are not my leader. You are just my helper. You are not my leader. You are just my helper. Please take it easy now. Now, hey, you are not my boss. You are not my director. You are not my boss. You are just my helper. You are my wife. Hey, don't mix that up. You are just my wife. You are not my boss. I don't know if you've ever... Yesterday, some people were writing, yeah, we are familiar with that. We are familiar with that statement or with something similar to that. Because, yeah, we've been living in marriage for some time and we are very familiar with that. Well, if some of you are already familiar with that, I would like you to know that that's no joke. Most men are thinking ladies don't hear them. And it's not enough for you just to be familiar with that statement or with that phrase. You must also really, the man's dream is that you actually hear them. And I was telling you yesterday that this doesn't have to do with your husband. Maybe he doesn't love you, because ladies begin to say, oh, he doesn't love me, I want to help him, and he doesn't love me, he doesn't want to hear my advice and all that. And it's not that he doesn't want to hear your advice, but the thing with men is that they are created to be the leader. They are supposed to be the leaders, and even though they might be aware that their ladies are smarter than them and that she is right, but it goes a long way to the way she presents her argument. She needs to come across and talk to him as if she was just suggesting the thing. No, she should come across as, you know what, I think maybe you could do it this way. You know what, I've got an idea. What about if we do it this way? Or, I'll just come across and say, my opinion. If you want to hear my opinion, I don't know. I think I would have done it this way. Or I heard somebody say this sometime. Or, this could work. You want to consider it, please. But leave him and make him have the impression that he's the one taking the decision. And leave him, give him that authority to be able to take decision and to be able to have the final word. Let him have the feeling that it's his own decision, even if he's going to end up doing what you say. So a man doesn't want to be pushed around in his own house. And he doesn't want the wife to be, to put him under instructions, and he doesn't want to be in a situation whereby he's obeying the instruction of his wife. Now, some ladies were very angry because I made a statement yesterday and I said, sometimes these very same things that you are trying to tell him could be told to him by his friends or by even another woman out there, and he will be much more keen to hear from another person rather than from you. And the lady, I saw the comments, the ladies they were so angry at that. It's not about, oh, who are they? I'm the wife, and why should he listen to another woman? Now, he's not looking at another woman as a woman. He's just thinking, the way the man thinks is this: my wife, even though I love her, but she's my wife. And she's my wife, we can agree, she could give me advice. But when she begins to, instruct me and teach me, I'm saying, hey, princess, I'm being taught everywhere. I go to work, somebody wants to teach me how to work. I go to, but I cannot do anything, it's my boss, so I've got to listen to him. I go to church, somebody wants to teach me something, the pastor, this is my pastor, I've got to listen. So I'm here listening to everybody teaching me. I think at least I should have a place where I come to and nobody is teaching me. So that's the way he's looking at it. And he's also looking at it as if some men think, I understand that you are smart or you know the thing, but hey, Allow me to make my mistakes, or allow me to learn, rather than you teaching me. I'm not your schoolboy. I mean, a man doesn't want to feel himself as a schoolboy in his own house. So I just wish that you ladies will hear that you can still tell the same thing, you can still pass the same message across, just be more tactful. Just be more smart and wise in the way you suggest and pass across your ideas to him. But if he's another man, if it's not your husband, yeah, be free to talk anyhow. But even then, some men are still having problem with that. But when it's your husband proper, sometimes ladies think, but I'm after his good. And what ladies are thinking is that since I'm for his good and I'm after his good, everything should go. He should know that I'm for his good. He should know that I'm after his interest. I'm for him. Since I'm for him, he should embrace my suggestions anyway. Yeah, logically, yeah. Logically, yeah. That's the way it's supposed to work out. But the men have something that is called ego. And that ego, they could try to suppress it. They might not quite be able to suppress it every day. Yeah, so if you could be tactful in the way you pass your message across to him, that will help the two of you. It will help the two of you. And he will be able to receive it, and you will not be offended that he doesn't seem to be receiving from you. So that is one thing. I already made that point yesterday, so let's move on. The second point that, the second thing that every man wants to tell his wife is this: please don't control me. Let me make my own mistakes. Or, hey, give me my space. Please don't control me. I mean, don't control me. I'm not your kid. That is another thing that men want to tell their wives. Now, I know that the ladies that what we call control, what men can control, sometimes it's actually a sign of care. It's actually an attempt it's probably an attempt by the woman to actually, show care and love for the. It's probably an attempt to show care and love for the husband. But when care and love is becoming too much, when you are caring too much and the man is not so caring, the man is not so keen at receiving your help, and I think you just change here so that if she needs to move. So if the man is not so big about receiving your help, and you want to put your help on his head by force, the man looks at that as control. So, the passion of the woman sometimes to help the man, and the willingness of the woman to help the man when he's not ready for it, is going to be counted as control by the man. So the man is going to see that as control, that, okay, what is control for the man? You want me to do it your own way. So that is control. Why should I do it the way you are saying it? Or why should I do what you are saying? I want to do it my own way. Or I understand it a different way. I don't want to do what you are telling me to do. Okay, I will do it, but at my own terms, or in my own pace, or at the time that I want to do it. So they say, don't control me. Now, I don't know if men actually say it that way. They might not actually be using that word, that don't control me, but they might use different words and different ways, but still they want to pass that message across. So in anything you do, ladies, no matter how much you love your husband, no matter how much you care for him, make sure that you give him that liberty. You are not on him all the time, and you are not telling him one and the same thing like 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Because ladies are thinking that men didn't hear. So ladies are thinking, I don't think he heard me. Did he really hear me? I don't think he heard me. But he heard, but the reason he's not responding is because he's thinking, okay, I heard, leave me. Okay, I've heard you, okay. Let me do it when I want to do it. Let me respond when I want to respond. But don't be all over me and making me to want to do this thing the way you want me to do it and the time you want me to do it and all that. Okay, what are you writing? Okay. Yep, you see some men are saying the same kind of control comes from their mothers as well. And some of them run away from home because they want to escape from their mothers. And then when we get married, we don't want our wives to take the place of our moms. Because you just escaped from the control of the mother, and now you run into the arms of the wife, into the control of the wife. So he thinks he's in trouble. Okay, Nena said, another thing men say that don't control me, you are not my mother. It's still the same thing. Because they think that at least their mom has some right, a little bit of right, in the sense that she's their mother, she gave birth to them, and she's, they know, but that still, they want to feel themselves that they are grown-up men, and they don't want they want even their mom to let them take their decisions. And then when their wives are trying to do that, let me tell you what the men think. Men think that my mother has better right or more right to control me than my wife. So, okay, I could still forgive my mother, but what are you doing trying to control me? Frankly speaking, I don't think those are good ideas. I don't think a man should tell a wife or a woman, don't control me. I don't think we should even be talking like that in a marriage where we have honor for each other. I think, there must be mutual understanding both from the side of the man and the woman. But why am I saying it then? Because these things exist. This not just exist. This almost, maybe 99% of the men want to tell their wives this, but it also takes a little bit of maturity from the man for him to, even if he feels like that, not to say it. And to try to understand where she's coming from. And where she's coming from is from the position of care, from the position of love, from the position of, trying to help. So, yeah, I think the men should also try to understand. So, both you are not my leader and don't control me, those things could be managed. Those things could be managed. Okay. The next thing that every man wants to tell a woman, or every man wants to tell his wife, is don't be so stubborn. Sorry for this word. But men don't like their wives to be stubborn. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is the men see themselves as the head of the family, and as the head of the family, they don't want the woman to come and be, no, they don't want her to come across as unruly, that she cannot be told anything. She cannot be told what to do. She will not even receive your advice. And she's only stubborn, or she insists on her own way. A man feels, he gets angry and annoyed when it feels like she doesn't listen. And the same thing happens to him, but he doesn't see his own problem that he doesn't listen to, but, but he expects the wife to listen. And he's almost looking at that as his birthright. That since I'm the husband, then you are supposed to listen. But forgetting that she's a person, she's an individual by herself. And she took her decisions before she married you. And she was able to live on her own and had her own opinion before she married you. And she's still having her opinion. She's still having her independent opinion and her thoughts. But I think what makes the men think women are stubborn normally is that when women agree, when women say yes to the man's proposal, in the man's mind, he is thinking, she's agreed to do things my way. I'm sorry, ladies, if that's a new concept to you. So the man is thinking, but you agreed to marry me. So who's the husband here? If you have agreed to marry me, I'm now telling you how things are going to be, and you are not listening. But the only thing the man don't know is that the woman is thinking the very same thing, only she's thinking, well, I'm your wife. So, didn't you ask me to be your wife? Doesn't that mean that you have to listen to me? Doesn't that mean that I have the right to tell you what to do? Am I not your wife? Who am I then? So it's totally the opposite. The man is thinking, since you have agreed to follow me into this marriage, you should be listening to it. It means you have agreed to listen to me. On the other hand, the lady is thinking, but you have accepted me to be your wife. Can't I tell you what to do? Interesting life, isn't it? Interesting life. So, that is where that question of stubbornness comes in. And so he's expecting her to listen and obey instantly. And she's thinking, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to. And she's thinking of a way to convince him to do things her way. And he's thinking she's stubborn. This lady is stubborn. Let me tell you what. This is one big problem men encounter in marriage. And this is one big problem men find difficult to communicate to their wives. So what is the way around this, or how do we resolve this situation? I think the way to resolve this is to open up to each other. And for the ladies to explain why she will not do what what he's asking her to do, and what are her arguments, and why she's thinking that he rather has to do what she is saying. So I think it's all about discussion, open discussion, and I think the men have got to give the ladies the privilege of expressing herself, give her the right, and let her know that she has the right. She has the same right in the family as the husband. And when a man comes across as if, because I'm the husband, you're supposed to listen, things don't work. And most ladies, they are not happy. If she's not happy, she's not going to do it. Or she's going to do it in her own way. So she's not going to do the thing, or she will do it the way you don't like, or she will just go into herself and refuse to talk. And if a lady is not talking, you are in crisis. Let me tell you that one from the beginning. So, yeah. So, but I want the ladies to still know this, that instead of you to gain the reputation of being stubborn, why don't you just talk? Talk it over. Open up the conversation. Instead of you just insisting that things must be done your own way, or that you are not going to obey him, you don't care what he thinks. It's better for you people to just stop and say, okay, let's discuss. Let's, wait a minute. Let's just iron this out. Let's talk it out. But you ladies should be aware of that word there, stubborn. By the way, what are people writing? Are you people familiar with that phrase? Yeah? You familiar with that? From men? Yeah, Nkiru said, yeah, so I'm stubborn. Oh. But my husband has learned to use my stubbornness for good. Okay. Yeah, but still, Sister Patty Bafu is saying, oh boy, I need paracetamol to listen to this. It's painful. It's painful to digest this, right? Well, it's better for somebody to tell you than for you to be getting to discover these things by fighting and conflicting. And even if he doesn't say anything, if your husband doesn't say anything, that is even worse, because you will see that he's not happy and you have a lot of conflicts going on and you will not know why. And so it's better for you to know what could be the reason for those bad relations that you are having. So, next thing that every man wants to tell his wife, every man wants to tell his wife is, please, no hysterics. Please, no hysterics. No scandal. No scandal. Please, no shouts. No shouts in this house. No. Men are allergic to scandals and hysterics and scandals and noise and shouts, and they might be shouting back, but if they shout back, that's just for them to silence you so that you don't talk anymore, please, because the men know that no man can outshout a woman. We cannot win that battle. No man can win the battle of hysterics. And no man can win the shout battle, the screaming battle, the scandals. Men don't like it. And what you ladies should know is that scandals, a man is writing here, yeah, you are right, Pastor, we are allergic to drama. Yeah, they don't like it. Yep, they don't like it. No matter what happened, they would rather say, no, let's sit down and talk. But please don't make noise, don't shout. Don't let the neighbors be looking through the window saying what's happening in that room or in that house. So, ladies, if there's anything for you to note, it's better to talk. It's better to discuss. Or it's better to even walk out and relax and breathe in some fresh air than stay back and scream and be doing the screaming battle. Most men who don't come back home actually don't come home because they're afraid. Afraid of the scandals, afraid of the noise, afraid of the hysterics, afraid of the shouts. Yeah, they just scared of them. They don't want it. And that is another reason why I think good enough African, most of us here are Africans, and Africans don't drink, right? People don't drink, and at least Nigerians don't drink, I think.
African men drink.
Socially,
they're very big social drinkers.
No, social drinker, but they don't get drunk. I mean,
They get drunk.
huh?
Not as common.
Not like England.
In comparison.
Yeah? Well, when I was in Nigeria, all my life, I only saw 2 drunkards. Yeah, where I grew up, people didn't drink. And I still have that impression today that people don't drink in Africa. You know, but I know that Africans from East Africa drink, and Africans from South Africa drink. They drink bad compared to West Africans. I think that's from what my own experiences. But maybe things have changed. But what I'm trying to say is that, so if Africans drink, then one of the things that push married men to the bottles is hysterics and scandals. A man that is experiencing scandal and fight and noise in his family is being invited by the bottles. Yeah, he would rather go and drink to forget. He would rather go and drink with his friends, but thank God a lot of them are Christians now. At least I think that could be accurate. And the ones who are Christians might not be drinking, but still they will not be happy. They will not be happy. So women, you know, be mindful of that. Anything you do, don't be hysterical. I mean, but sometimes women cannot help it, because being hysterical is one of the ways for them to unwind as well and release the stress. But just for you to know that if you want to destroy your family, be hysterical, shouting, screaming. And I understand where that is coming from on the side of the woman. Sometimes they cannot control it, because if a woman is really hurt and thoroughly hurt, she wants to be heard. And for her to be heard, and she has said it in a way, in a maybe normal way, and she's not being heard, it's like the only other thing for her to do is to scream. Maybe she could be heard. And when a woman begins to scream, that's a bad case, because it means that she's really suffered silently for so long. When a woman begins to scream, it means she's been so frustrated and nobody had noticed her frustration. When a woman begins to scream, it means she's felt so much betrayed, and that's the only way out, she could say. So I don't think that, I personally, I blame the man for a hysterical man. For a hysterical wife. I think that if you get your wife to a place where she has to scream or raise her voice, that you've messed up big time. A woman should never be driven to a state of mind whereby she will have to scream or shout and fight and be hysterical to get her points across. She shouldn't be driven to that place. She should have been taken care of long time before. If a woman is well taken care of, if a woman is well looked after, she will not have to scream or shout and anything like that. So, of course, if she's screaming, that also means that she's still trying to get you to pay attention. If she's screaming, she's still trying to get you to hear her out. But why should you get her to that place where she has to scream? Why don't you just hear her out before she screams? But what could be worse than a scream is when she goes silent. When she goes silent, you are in trouble. It means nothing can help. Oh, this one, she has given up on you. But still, I think men should Pay attention to that. Even though men don't like it when a woman is screaming or hysterical, but still when she begins to scream and become hysterical, it gets mad as well. And most of the time that doesn't help too, just for you ladies to know. Because he gets angry, he gets mad, he walks out of the family, goes away to his friends or to the bottles, or he himself could get so mad that he begins to fight. And sorry for this that I'm about to say now, but sometimes when you scream at her like that, some men respond by, I'm sorry that I have to say that, but some men could be violent. Some men, I've never quite seen that before, but I know men do that. That some men could get so mad to the extent of raising their hands. In our church here, if I get to know that a man raises hands against the wife, if the wife is a member of our church, I take up the case personally. We put lawyers on the table right there from the church. It becomes my own matter. It becomes the church matter. It becomes our own case. But unfortunately, the women themselves will be coming to beg and say, okay, withdraw the way. So she comes to complain. And then when you begin to act, now she comes back and be. But I try to, at least men in our church they try not to do that because they know me now. They know that becomes a personal thing. Even if you scream at a lady, you shouldn't do that. Anyway, but ladies do scream because they could be, yeah. Yeah, so women, be careful of your emotions, being hysterical, shouting, screaming. Actually, that is another thing that drives men out of the family into the arms of other women. A man wants to have peace, and because he wants to have peace, he will just leave and go to another woman where he could have peace. So you want to, you want to control your emotions. You want to control your, especially shouts and scandals. Men don't like it. Men don't like it. Next point that every man would like his wife to know, or what the man wants to tell his wife is, the man does not want the lady to ignore him in the house. Don't just do your own thing. But I also know that if a woman is ignoring the man, that is not natural for her. And that means she is angry. If a woman ignores the man in the house, that means she's not happy. And that means that she's giving up. But what the man is feeling is, don't be too busy with your work or with your job or even with children, such that it's like I'm no more in this house. It's like I'm not here. And this crisis comes on especially after a lady gives birth. When a lady has a baby, that baby becomes the focus and takes the place of the relationship that used to be mutual and cordial. And instead of that, mutual and cordial relationship or friendship, the ladies sometimes kind of neglect the core relationship between herself and the husband because of the burden. And that's understandable because she needs to perform her duties as a wife and as a mother as well. So, and because this child is helpless and still young, it's almost natural for the woman to pay more attention to him, to the child, than to the husband. And when the husband begins to express his dissatisfaction, the mother begins to say, hey, are you a baby as well? You are a big baby. Like, it's like I have two boys, two kids. And the baby begins to say, who are you to be competing with your son or with your child? And the ladies don't seem to understand that. But the thing with the man is, he's thinking, I married you because I want to spend time with you. Now you are not spending time with me. Yeah, I like our kid, I love our kid, but I still need you. So this puts a little bit of pressure on the woman because she has to find the balance and between a child and a big husband and a big baby. So that is a challenge right there that the ladies have to consider. But it doesn't want you to totally neglect him. Even in the name of taking care of your baby, of your child. It still wants you to remember him and to ask after him and to give him his own due. The next thing a man really wants to tell, a man wants to tell his wife is, please don't stop smiling. I married you because of that smile. But the truth is, when a woman begins to give birth and begins to be engulfed in home duties, she smiles. She begins to smile less. If you don't know, I would just like to tell you that now, especially if you are not married. Once you marry, once a woman marries, she doesn't even know where the smile goes, disappears to, because it's not. In Russian language, we say it in a way that I don't even know how to say this in English. But nidosmecha. So it's not a smiling time, not a laughing time now. It's no season for laughter right now. She's so engulfed and busy with keeping the kitchen neat, keeping the furniture in place, keeping the bedroom clean, keeping the restroom in order, walking, and especially if she has a child, the baby, the children. She even forgets how laughter or smile looks like because of so much duties, so much obligations, and so much things to do. And that is a challenge for women. It's not easy for them. And so if you want on the other hand, if a man wants the wife to smile more, I think it might be a good idea to help her. Are you getting that from the tap? No, don't drink from the tap, please. Okay, good. So, so if you really want her to keep on smiling, reduce her load work. Make her life easier. Get her a maid. Get her some help. Get her a car. Or save her from the trouble of going to work. Let her not work. something, just or help her in the house, help her to do some duties, and yeah, just if you want the lady to keep smiling, reduce some of her responsibilities. Reduce some of her responsibilities. Because the ladies, it's not that she doesn't want to smile, she just have too much in her hands. But I still must tell you this, ladies. Your man is thinking, I married you for that smile. What happened? Where did it disappear to? Because ladies' smile can do wonders into the men. Men come alive. They grow wings. Their flowers blossom. But if they don't see that smile again, it's like they are in trouble. So they need you to smile. Well, of course, people are now saying, but this, but how is to blame is, well, just for you to know, I'm just giving you the information out there. Another thing, the man, every man wants to tell his wife that are a bit difficult for the ladies. I never knew this was difficult for the ladies until I started doing seminars and retreats and HMT for women. Then I discovered that, oh, it's not easy for them. They told me, and that's how I got to know. But men, I was a man, I was thinking like an ordinary man before I got to know this about this. And this other request is this: every man is expecting the wife. Now even I'm a little bit ashamed of saying it because it's like it's not even fair for me to have to say that, but I think I'll just say it because this is what men are thinking. I think I'll just say it because this is what men are thinking. But now I know better, so I'm ashamed of saying it, but I think I'll just say it. Do you think I should say it? Every man is expecting his wife to be both well-dressed and all makeup at home. Which is, yeah. So just like she's seeing you now, that's how she wants, just like he's seeing you now, that's how he wants to see you every day. Yeah. Which is not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. Because she's washing, she's busy, yeah, and she doesn't feel like sometimes, but feeling like it's even not the problem. But even physically, she is thinking, when I'm busy, when I'm at home, so we don't even know what challenge, men don't know what trouble women go through to keep themselves all makeup and beautiful and with nice hairstyle and dressed all the time, because that's what we're used to seeing. You go to the street, go anywhere, you see all the women all over. So we think, why is it that my wife is not like that in the house? But I used to see you used to be okay in the church, but what happened when we married? So he is getting frustrated. But we don't know that, first of all, she wakes up in the morning, she's thinking, thank God. She actually even has to remove all those things before she goes to bed. Some men don't even know, why do we have to remove it to go to bed? To remove it to go to bed. He doesn't even know that she needs to remove it because he's thinking, I'm taking her to bed, beautiful. Because that is the beauty he saw in the public. So he's expecting that same beauty in his bed. I'm sorry for, being so open like that. But then she goes to say, okay, I'm coming. And goes to remove everything. And he's thinking, okay. And it's not a different world, right? Different world. So, you know, one thing that, and I'm going to, my wife is not really big on, she doesn't even ordinarily wear too much cosmetics and all that. But one day, like I said, it's a little bit shameful for me to say these things, but one day I had to ask her, and I said, Princess, why are you always going to remove all those cosmetics? Why don't you just sleep like that? Such a foolish guy, you know, such a foolish guy. But that fool has a reason. The fool is coming from the mind. I was just a regular guy, my friend. I was just a man. So she when she began to explain to me the elementary reasons, I was so ashamed. Because she said, okay, how do you expect me to go to bed like this? Because she's looking so, just like you are looking now, just like you people are looking now. So she said, if I go to bed like this, first of all, this is going to all be on the bed sheet, on the pillow, bed sheet, and it's going to be all messed up. What happens every day? I said, ooh, yeah, okay, so it comes out, eh? It comes off like that. We are so naive sometimes because we are so different, and we are coming from a different world. She said, "Oh yeah," and even she said the lashes and from the eyes also will go there. So she needs to remove all that. I said, "Oh yeah, ooh, okay." We don't know. We just want you to be, you know, because men are seeing picture. Men are seeing the drawing, whatever they saw. Yeah, no, not just only even you yourself, when they saw you, they only saw you the way they saw you. And the thing that is you, you know, men don't even know that, for example, I don't know the difference when the girl is who I'm seeing or it is cosmetics I'm seeing. I don't know if you get it. So we are seeing the cosmetics, but we think that's you. Yeah. I say, oh, really? Because that's what we see. Men just see what they see, and they think that's you. So, but for example, when I just came to Europe here, I used to like the skin, especially the face. Okay, like her now, this skin here. You know, I never knew that takes some work on to do to make her look like that. But I think, you know, that's just her. I never knew. Or like she with the skin, or like her, you know, see the face, like the skin. It didn't even come to my mind that you want to rub things like that to make. We don't even know. Men don't even know that. Oh, do they rub it? Because I think that's a skin. What is skin? Wow. Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. But we don't know she's not like that all the time. Are you surprised? We are surprised too. We are surprised. So the men are thinking, is there any way for us to just keep you beautiful like that all the time? So I think that I think it is better for women to help the men to understand who they are. In fact, I'm sorry for this, but men preachers said this. It's not me. I heard it. I heard it from a man preacher, famous American preacher. Came to preach in my church and said this, that you guys, before you marry, make sure you pay your wife a surprise visit at 5 o'clock in the morning. Which is a good advice for the men. Every man was excited and jumping and saying, oh, wow, that's good. But now as a man, I'm thinking that sounds very cruel. That's a very bad joke. That's a very cruel advice. But these are great men of God that are using this on the pulpit, and there are women in the hall. And they say it without even shilling. They would say it like they're giving advice to the men, which is, I have to say it because just for you to know what's happening there, but I'm feeling embarrassed to even say it. So what men preachers say to men, young men, is that you want to marry her? Make sure you go visit her at 5 o'clock in the morning. Pay her a surprise visit, or 4 o'clock. And what they're trying to say is, when she's not having her cosmetics on, but that's not beautiful. Now thinking about it, I know that's not a good thing, because you just want to marry a body or what? Or a look? Or you want to marry the person? And to be telling her you are paying her a surprise without letting her know what you're after, why don't you just tell her to be without cosmetics or one day, or you want to see her without, I don't know. Why don't you just talk? But to be doing a detective thing on her, I don't think that looks so solid. Especially if you want to love her at all time, good and bad, and you want to receive her the way she is, she will feel I think she will feel betrayed. I think maybe she would not, but because the word is so, but still. So, but this pastor went and told very bad stories. I mean, much worse than this, because he spoke about, you coming 5 o'clock in the morning and discovering that she didn't have a hair. She didn't have any hair because because what she had was some artificial, the wig or artificial hair, and then you discover that, when you came in, she discovered that it was you. She had to look for the teeth or whatever. Because she goes to bed, remove it, and she has to put it because. So those are very bad jokes, but still. These are what men say among themselves. But they were not even saying this among themselves. They were saying right in the thousands of people. So, but they make, she's saying many other things that are horrible, but I think we shouldn't talk like that today to the ladies. So it's, even if ladies are not having all those things, but still it communicates something not good. Well, but at the end of the day, I think the ladies need to let the husband know that this is the way she is. And she's not going to be the picture he saw it the first day, or he saw in the cinema or in the movie every day. And when people, and with all this, and you are right, with Hollywood mentality, and you think that your lady or your wife is going to be that Hollywood picture all the time, and that's a problem. That's a problem. Yeah, so that's a problem. So what I'm saying, like I said, is that I just want you to know what men think generally, right? Not necessarily that I agree with that, but just to let you know what is out there. And finally, what does is that number what? What number is that? No. Number 8, including yesterday? Today, just today, 8, right? Okay. Let me give you 2 more. Another one is a woman, a man is saying, please don't argue with me. It's like that's not possible, right? But men, you say, okay, men, they don't mind listening to you, they don't mind hearing you out, but they don't want the argument. So how do we avoid that? Everybody must learn to pass their points across, and everybody must learn to express their own opinion. But when it comes to marriage, what I've discovered is that, ladies, you need the wisdom to be quiet. Express your own opinion, say what you think, say what your opinions are, and then withdraw. Learn to withdraw. But in most cases, women don't know how to withdraw after they make their own point. In most cases, women want to push their points through. Women want to bully their way through arguing. And you know what? Men know this thing. If you begin to argue with a woman, you are not going to win. She is going to win back. Women know how to get their way through argument. And if it's not working, she doesn't have logics, she will have emotions. If emotions are not helping, she will add some tears to it. If tears are not helping, some shouts will help. So men know that they cannot win a battle and an argument with a woman, so they don't like it. Men don't like arguments in their homes. They don't like to have arguments with their wives because they know they might be right, and but they are not going to win the argument. The lady will always win the argument. And she will find a way to win the argument. But even though she might win the battle, she might not win the war. And that is why I think it's better for the ladies to learn to make their point, to state their point, their view, and then also learn to just withdraw, to learn to withdraw instead of perpetually arguing their case and trying to be right all the time or trying to win the argument. And it hurts the man, makes him to think that she's naughty, makes him to think that she only loves herself and this is all about her, makes him to think that she's bullying him, it makes him to think that she wants to become the head of the family. Okay. So even though the lady might win the argument, but at the end of the day, it will leave a bitter taste with the husband. And Kiru says, my husband says, with a woman, even if you win the argument, you have to apologize to be right at the end of the day. You still have to apologize even if you are right. So that the argument will come to an end. So, well, here we are. I see that Davida has been quite active in this conversation. I want to hear from you. What are the thoughts you heard today that you think are interesting, or that you think we should hear the lady's perspective on, or or what are the comments you have been writing or you give, or what are some of the thoughts you want to defend or protect or voice? Let me show you. Davida is here.
Okay. Okay. Listening to you about the making up, like I said, I made a comment saying that I've been reading about etiquette and women and things like that, and there's light makeup for the right occasion. You can't just be heavily made up all the time. But nowadays you see women heavily made up on all occasions, And I've seen instances or stories online where a man has married a woman and he finds it's a totally different woman and he goes to divorce her. So we have situations like that coming up. So what I'm saying is that there's nothing wrong with wearing jeans but being lightly made up in the house. And then when you're going out, the husband, you need to look a bit better. You need to look even, so you can make up a bit more. And if you're going for a dinner or something, then the makeup should be different. So have different levels. Then I remember listening to Joyce Meyer, and she says her mother taught her how to dress in the home. And I've had some friends like that as well, where their mothers also, in their home, they're well-dressed, nails manicured and everything. And that's just part of how they've lived.
But some ladies here have argued to me that it's not practical to have the manicures and nails all done in the house when you are washing the plates, when you are, doing all that in the home, that even the water, your fingers and your hand in the water all the time, that, in the home, that is not very practical for the lady. And I think we must explain this to the men.
I know that it's not so practical. I mean, for instance, I've got silver nail polish on today, and there's a reason why I haven't gone for red, because this one chips quite quickly. I have to keep on polishing. With the silver, it's not noticeable. So there are things we can do as women, I think if it matters to the man, and I think these issues matter, I hear it a lot, and I think it matters to men a lot, so there are things you can do. Even your casual clothes can be nicer clothes, just rather than take one pink socks, one blue socks, we can do what we can within, we can work on it. I think women can work on it. It's a hard thing, to be fully dressed up all the time. Some women do it, and it's a habit as well. It's become a habit for some women. But I'm saying that we should do what we can. The thing about makeup, we mentioned makeup and it getting on the pillow and things like that. Also, there are things around spots. If you don't take up your makeup, your skin gets worse. You break
is
out.
That so?
Yes, you
we
break
didn't
out.
know about that.
Yes, you.
Your pores.
Yes. So there are other issues around that as well that people.
Even me, I'm hearing this for the first time.
Maybe men need to know.
Yeah, men need to know.
Yes.
Please, you need to help us.
Yes.
And meanwhile, please, can you put a share here for Shinwe? I want her to come and sit here. Yes, please.
Okay. So I'm just looking at the other things I've mentioned.
She's here. Shinwe.
Yeah, you spoke about women not giving the man their attention. And sometimes a woman might be wanting, because I think naturally, in my mind, I think a woman wants to give the husband attention.
Okay.
But then you might want to give the husband attention, or I'm too busy, or I've got this, I've got that. But he's giving attention to other people. So that affects the woman, and the woman withdraws, because it's too stressful trying to give attention to somebody who keeps on pushing you back. So I'm saying to the men that you need to make room. I remember Pastor Sunday and Pastor Bossy were saying that, look, sometimes you have to make an appointment.
Yeah.
You have to do some practical things to make sure that...
We have daily appointments with my wife every day to spend 1 to 3 hours, 1 hour at least, just every day.
Yeah.
Then if we all get too busy, then we need to, make a day appointment or something.
Yes. And Pastor Sunday also spoke about when you say something, you say it in this way, you say it in that way, you say it in so many ways, you cry, you add tears to it. That can be counterproductive, and it shows that you've lost the case anyway, you've lost your power, you've lost everything. So sometimes it's more powerful just to say it once and leave it. And it's not like the person won't process it, because I believe every man wants to do the best for himself and for the family. So that's very important. Yeah. that's all I can see at the moment.
Okay. Chinwe, what will you say about some of the things you've heard today?
Thank you very much, Pastor. I'd like to start with the makeup bit. I think for some women, it's a way of building confidence. Okay, maybe they've been told, oh, you don't look nice and things like that, and they want to start doing things, you know, to make them feel a lot better. For some people, they just like it. I do makeups, but not very heavy, because I think naturally I'm okay. I feel good about myself. So the makeup, I just do it for the fun of it. I tell people, look for what is good for you. It's not about anybody, it's about you. It's about your confidence. How do you feel? And if you don't feel comfortable the way you are and you think you can do something about it to uplift you, then you go ahead and do that. You're not doing it for any man or woman. It's for yourself. However, if you have a partner or a husband who doesn't, my husband doesn't like so much makeup, thankfully, I've got spots, some things they want to hide, they don't want people to see it. So that's the reason why some people go ahead for, you know, the makeups. In terms of family, you know, communication, it's a very big problem. For myself, I'm sorry, husband, wherever you are, you might be listening to me now. It's about the way we communicate. My husband is a very quiet person, doesn't talk much. But what happened is that when I talk more, I'm an extrovert. When I talk and maybe he's trying to process it, I don't have that patience. I'm talking to you, you know, I end up raising my voice. But with the teaching and also the word of God, I've learned to keep quiet. When I say it, I keep quiet. Just like you said, you get so frustrated sometimes, you want your opinion to be heard, and somebody's not listening to you, so you end up doing anything, crying. Well, I don't like crying, you know, it's not my way. So I talk. So, and you keep repeating yourself. It's like the man will tell you, you think I'm deaf? I'm not deaf. Just give me time. Some people process things slowly than others. Some people, you get them on the spot, they give you an answer. It's about gift, talent God has given.
But managing the emotions for the lady is not easy, waiting for him to respond.
Yes, that is the difficulty for some of us. For me, anyway, I need a response for me to act. You know, but he takes his time. So that becomes an issue for me. However, you know, I have to find a way as well, because I need peace in my life. I need peace, and he also needs the peace. So when we do things like that, to be honest with you, my husband is one person who doesn't like eating outside. So if anything, no matter what the disagreement is, I have to cook. I must cook. If there's anything my mom tells me, you know what, whatever the case is in your home, sex and food, don't deny your husband. I said, okay, ma'am, I'll do that. But then sometimes, you know, when you are referring,
how can you do that?
When you're not in the right frame of mind.
Those advice, I disagree with them.
Yes.
Because a woman that, no matter the case, those are very crude advice. I'm sorry for that. And I'm not offending the person who gave the advice. But I know by studying the nature of women right now, that when a woman, when you have just slapped a woman, men do this.
Yes.
Maybe not physically slap her, but when you have offended the woman, insulted her, or not met her needs, when she's just emotionally been wounded or offended, then you take her to the bed, or you go drag her to the bed, or you want to go and touch her. It's not just that it's not going to work. It's not just that it's not going to work. You are abusing her. Abusive right at that moment. Let me tell you that one. Because the nature of woman is this. She has to, sex, it's not just about opening your legs for the woman. She has to open her heart, emotions. It takes a whole complex for that, but it's as good as a rape.
You are right. See why this program is good, because we are learning something new. Like most of the comments I make is based on what we've been taught.
Okay.
So the mindset, and that's why I had to repeat it. I want to repeat it so that people will understand where I'm coming from. That advice has been there, but things have shifted for me, because we need to be in a very good level of mind, frame of mind, to be able to do whatever we need to do. So that's why I insist, let's talk about things. We need to talk about it. If we don't talk about it, we cannot move forward. Nothing is going to happen. Because I'm a human being, you're a human being. I always tell people, if you have blood flowing in your body and you make me feel this way, I wouldn't retaliate, but think about how you feel if I do that to you. So one would understand, so know that. And that's the way, for me, that's the way I go. So, you know, it's about communication, understanding your man or woman, how they communicate, because we're all different. We can only learn and improve ourselves in order for things to work. But some people are very blank. They're not ready. This is what they know, and that's the way it's going to be. And that's where the difficulty comes. It becomes a big challenge. So what do you do?
But a woman is saying here that even pastors give this advice, that no matter what has happened between you, it is just so bad, that you don't sleep with him, but you must be emotionally involved as well. How can a woman even allow him to come near the bed, talk less of sleeping with him, or even be emotionally involved? When she's just been abused, when she's just been hurt, when she's just been damaged, or when she's just been offended. And we must tell these things to men, that women is not just about, I see that, and I have to tell you the truth. And it is shameful what I'm about to say now. But I grew up watching television in Africa, American television. And my generation, that is how we grew up, you know, and that's how we learn our relations with women, with the opposite sex, and with boys in the street, in the school. I don't even know how to say this. But one common feature that we normally saw in those movies is that, I mean, I think it's no more there now, because I've not been watching movies for the last 25 years. So I hope this is no more the case. But in the 70s, when I used to watch TV, and in the beginning of the 80s, this is what we used to see. We used to watch these movies whereby the hero, normally, will have a girl or a wife or girlfriend, and they will fight or they will have a disagreement. But normally, he will slap her or beat her and then wrestle her down somehow, you know. You understand what I mean? I'm sure you have seen those kind of scenario before. You know, she will try to beat him or something like that, or slap him, or try to retaliate or something. He will slap her, you know, and take her hand back. And then the next thing you see, it will flung her to the bed. I'm sure you have seen a scenario like that. Or he pushed her to the bed or flung her to the bed, and then everything ends up in sex. And then the next thing you see is that she's kissing him or he's kissing her passionately, and it's becoming sex. Now, knowing what I know now, there is no worse way you could treat a woman than that. Knowing what I know now. But we, growing up as young men, we thought that was the only way women agree to sex. That was the thing we were taught. That was the communication. That was what was communicated to us through those movies. That this is the only way to get a woman to have a sex with you. Fight with her first, or have disagreement with her, offend her, struggle with her, and they only agree for sex through struggles like that, or through abuse or insult like that. So when I started dating, this is when, before I became a Christian, all right? So when we now started dating girls, and we offend them, and they are angry, that's when we try to now use force to beg them to go to bed, because that's what we have seen in the movies, and that's what we want to reproduce.
And that makes the women feel they're second-class citizens.
I'm so sorry. So that's why it's so hard for me to talk about this. And I'm so ashamed to talk about it, that even me, I felt a victim of that before I got to know better. That actually it's the opposite. Do you know that is the very opposite of the nature of women? That it is actually the thing you should never even try to do. When you've slapped her, or don't even talk of slapping a woman. But those things are shown in the movie. Or don't even try to use force on a woman. We didn't even know that. That's not what we've been taught in those movies. And then after that, you've done that, then try to go and have sex with her. But in the movies, the woman always responds. And she responds even more passionately, as if that's what she's been waiting for. So that is the message that's been communicated. I don't know. Am I saying something out of this world? You've never seen that?
No, it's
You've never seen movies like
It's wrong
Some women still
representation.
believe that.
It is
Huh?
a wrong representation of our society.
Okay.
This is what happens mostly in Africa. And just like you said, it's because of what the mindset is. That does not make it right, but it's there. We cannot change it for now, but thank God for you and the word. I think people are beginning to see things. One, we don't have a very good judicial system in Africa. You dare not open your mouth and say you've been raped. Who are you? But you know, we've come abroad, we've come to understand that it's something like rape, even with your wife. When this woman says no, it means, you know, I don't know.
You shouldn't touch her.
You shouldn't. You understand? But these things happen in Africa. And I said to people, a lot of things that happen abroad, we're shouting, it happens in Africa, but it's all concealed on the, you know, somewhere that nobody knows. Because you are ashamed to say. If you say it, they say, oh, look at her, she's spoiled, she's this, she's that. You know, Africa is in a serious trouble. But I thank God things are changing. And it will change for better.
You wanted to comment on that?
Well, I know, just from what we have described, that's pretty much an abuse. And not only is it an abuse, it's part of the reason why the African woman believes that she is like a second-class citizen. Because
But
if I don't have
is
a
it just
say...
African? Because these movies I'm talking about are American Nollywood movies. I mean, Hollywood movies.
In America, I don't think it still exists. However,
Well, is it in
the
movies?
Americans
Does it
can
exist
tell
in
us...
movies, though? Did anybody ever see that in a movie before?
Oh, yes. Yes, we did.
You saw that in a movie before? You did?
Is it still on now? Is it? It's not like that anymore, yes. But previously it is, and probably people from America can tell us whether that still exists. I don't think the American woman is suppressed. However, in Nigeria, for example, or most parts of Africa, the African woman actually sees herself to a great extent as, let's say, second-class citizen. And this is part of the reason, because if I'm still upset and you're doing something to me, and I have to tolerate, either because my parents have advised me that way, or society as a whole.
Does somebody even say pastors tell you, not just...
Exactly. That's what I mean. So society expects me to. It's expected. And we don't believe that a married woman can be raped. Yeah. Meanwhile, from what we've just described, yes, a married woman can be raped. But in Nigeria...
By the very husband.
By the very husband. But in Nigeria, there's no married woman who can discuss that openly because it's unacceptable. Somebody will say, you're married to him. So it's like, you have to. Your pastor tells you, society tells you, you have to. But I'm hurt. At this time, I don't feel like, and you're forcing yourself on me. And as far as we are concerned, that's rape. But it's not acceptable. The term rape in Nigeria will not be acceptable for a married person.
I mean, people don't think...
And so that is the fact that makes the person who grew up in Nigeria and still lives in Nigeria to feel, amongst other things, that they are like second-class citizens.
Yeah, I'm saying that people don't, generally, it's not thought that the woman's emotions is part of the sexual act. Yeah. Okay. So all it is a bodily thing. So that is, push that to the side, have the sex, serve your husband, do the right thing.
But how can other women give that kind of advice? It's normal for the men, because for men, sexual act just involves the body. You know, it's separated. Yeah. But for the women, it's all integrated. But for another mother or a woman to be saying that to the daughter?
Yes, women have done it for years in order to keep their home together. Yeah. You know, so they've shut down emotionally. Yes. They've shut down in every other way. And the only thing going as a relationship or as a married couple often is the sex, the physical union of the body. So,
but then that is just physical thing. That is
what it is. And sometimes the men don't, if a woman is not responding, they wonder why, you know. They wonder why the woman isn't responding.
You wanted to say something, Katja?
I think that's true.
You might need to come closer because they can't hear now.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like most of the lack of sympathy kind of advice that I've gotten have been from women.
Wow.
I think because they have resigned that that's their place, and then you should also take that place.
Yes,
That's true. Very
Yeah.
true.
But
Are you talking Africa now?
no, I've only grown up in America.
Even in America.
Oh yeah, like I think in America on the surface, a lot of people can say, you know, we've progressed, but everything is just under the surface. There's still kind of a backwardsness under the surface.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I mean, I think that we are blessed because on the surface we can move anywhere and do anything, but there is an expectation under the surface that is the same as tradition. It's the same. It's you're expected to do this, to be this, all under the surface. Like it's like, you know, me and my roommate will talk about guys, and we'll say they'll you know encourage us to like go after our careers, do this, do it. And then we'll ask them, what kind of wife do you want? And they'll say, I just want someone who's going to stay home with the kids and please me. That's it. But they'll be encouraging you to go after your career. And yes, that's so great.
Just like this lady now, Megan, what's the name of the Kelly Megan? Yes. Megan Kelly. She just released a book. Her book is coming out now. She's a first journalist in America, right? You don't know Megan Kelly? From Fox News. Okay, she's a very famous lady, and she's telling in that book the story of coming to get employment in Fox, and the man, I forgot the name now, whoever the president of that Fox News, you know, was making advances on her at her.
Oh yeah.
In America. And that if you want to grow, if you want to keep your contract, if you want to do that, and that is just everywhere.
There are so many successful women over the age of 40 who cannot find husbands because the men are intimidated because even though these men are also successful, they just don't want a woman as successful as they are, or they look down on women who aren't married by 40, even though they've spent their whole life doing these amazing things. There's just a lot of, you know, backwardsness that is not on the surface. On the surface, you're thinking, oh, look at these women, they're doing all these great things, but they are in prison of these mindsets that keep them from, you know, getting fulfillment in other areas of their life.
Okay.
Yes, Pastor Sunday, what you've just described is sexual harassment, especially in the workplace. And since this program has started, it's been a real concern for me, especially in countries in Africa where women are having put under the pressure. I'm not saying they're forced to, but there's that expectation, you know, for you to go up in the business world or in the career world, you know, that you have to sleep with the bosses. You can't get a contract.
So that happens in Africa?
Oh, definitely. You know, you can't get a contract.
But just in Nollywood, right?
No. The men even expect, even the husbands encourage the woman, as far from what I've heard. Even husbands encourage. It is. You know, and for me, it's such a sad situation, and I'm just hoping that this will be one of the things that will be addressed, you know.
Are you serious? I was not planning to address it because I didn't even know it's an African problem.
I'm just saying that when, for a woman who, even married women are in that situation.
It's not possible.
So for a woman who is not married, you know, to now progress financially or economically, they have to sleep with everybody to move up to the next level.
It's not possible.
That is what it is.
Doubly hard. You have to work more than to prove your point. You have to be better than the man, and I mean not just being better.
Yeah.
Jump into the job and be really good at it.
In the man's world.
So you will do more than is expected to be.
Well, that is more fair than just like we black too. We black people, like here in Europe, you're all in Europe. For me to really prove my point that I'm better than all the people here, I needed to work 2-3 times more. At least that is more. That's fair,
that's
even
fair.
as a man or a woman.
Yes. But there's that sexual expectation, it's like a passport to get through.
Thank you for saying that.
We had somebody on the platform who mentioned it the other day that his friend's wife had ended up sleeping with. I don't know if it was in relation to contract, but it happens all the time. And there has to be an end to that. It's really, really.
Thank you for saying that, because if you had not sent it, I would not even know that we have such a problem.
Because most of the women have to numb themselves to do these things. It's not what they want to do. And some of them, their husbands are aware of it, but if you want the money, then you have to go down.
The husbands are aware.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's an
Thank you
abuse.
for letting us-
Very humiliating. Very humiliating. Very terrible.
Thank you for letting us
Pastor,
know.
if you must know, some men in Africa, in Nigeria particularly, will even advise their wives to go ahead.
Yeah, they do.
In order to get a contract.
Yes.
And you know what? After that, the husband will now turn against them and say, you sleeping with everybody, blah, blah, blah. But you are the one that asked him to go in order to, it's like, for God's sake.
It's a betrayal.
Both sides. Abuse on both sides.
So they use it to get what they want.
But if these things are true, that's then horrible.
It's true.
Yes.
Another thing is, in Nigeria, because of the legal system, you
Lagos?
Legal system.
Okay, legal. Okay.
You can't come up and say that
You might want to move forward.
you've been sexually harassed.
You can't come up and say
No,
that.
who is going to take up that case? So it's just part of the social issues that.
Although
needs to
in
be-
Lagos now, the governor, for some reason, started talking about rape and things in Lagos State. They started raising that topic with a big deal.
Because, like in the banking system, they close eyes to a lot of things that the bosses do, just for the female to advance in the system. And you can't come up and say somebody is sexually harassing you. For who is going? Nobody's going to.
Everybody's involved.
It's
Most of
just
them
becoming
don't
like the
realize
norm,
it.
like the norm. Yeah. So
Terrible situation.
it's a vicious circle. You don't have the legal system backing you. You don't have your bosses backing you. You don't have people enough raising the issue of sexual harassment. So it's something that needs to be looked into.
When I go to Nigeria, one of the things that we do in this country here is that we raise, maybe you have noticed, on Saturday and Sundays when people come to testify, we encourage people to start NGOs, civil societies, around any problem that they see in the society. And that I'm going to do in Nigeria. I plan to start 10,000 NGOs, civil societies. We are going to identify 10,000 problems. And each NGO is going to be fighting for one particular problem.
That would be great, yeah.
So the sugar daddy issue we keep having in Nigeria.
No more sugar daddy.
What
really
is sugar
help.
daddy?
Well, it's the young girls who come from poorer homes, and not necessarily poorer homes, who have to sleep with very old men who could even be their father because they have
not
money.
my own concept of sugar daddy. What I knew, what I thought. What I thought sugar daddy was a boy, maybe a young girl, just a girl having boyfriend.
Oh no.
Boyfriend that has money.
No. Well,
Just to have.
figure that they've married. A married man.
Yeah. Who could give back to that girl?
Who could even be
Somebody that
a
meets
father,
their financial need.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
of
way.
course,
Yeah.
they have to give the body for that.
Yeah.
So that's the only way they can go to university or improve
Yeah,
themselves.
exactly.
So they're
That's-
just trying to
That's
make
what
ends
my
meet.
sister had to do.
So how is that different from legal prostitution or illegal one?
Well, I'm talking about an NGO to address that because a lot of people
big
are
problem.
doing. It's a very big problem, and you can't blame them because that's the only way they can at least get their own tickets to live life later in life, to become who they ought to be. They can't fulfill their purpose without some money to start education. So it's a very serious issue.
Even ladies have to sleep with lecturers to graduate.
Oh, yes.
Some ladies won't graduate until they sleep with a particular lecturer.
Most Nigerian qualifications are useless because most people have not read for that qualification. They slept with lecturers
And paid money to attain whatever.
Okay, now the next question that I will have for you guys is, I gave like 10 points. At these points, do you ladies think these are the things that men want the women to understand about them, or what they want the women to hear? First of all, men that are here, do you think those points are legitimate? Do you think men think like that? Or women want to comment on that? Do you think men think like that? Huh? Sorry? You think so? Okay.
I think so.
So, what's your name, sir?
Ephraim.
Ephraim. So you agree with that?
Yes.
That's the main cry.
Yes.
And in every culture.
Mostly. Living in Canada, we have, multicultural people.
Yes.
And I deal with all these communities.
Yes.
And I've seen that. All men suffer the same thing.
Yes.
And I think that's communication issues. Because they don't know how to approach that.
Okay.
To understand what women
Think.
and how men think.
Okay. And David, how do you know that is true, that men think like that?
You hear people, you hear their marital problems, you see where things are coming from, you have an objective perspective, so.
I know that person wants to confirm that.
I think to talk about the communication, there's some ways that we can communicate. I remember when I was studying, I was doing 2 courses. I was so glued with my laptop doing assignment. I didn't really have time for my husband like the way we used to. And I noticed that he began to, get angry. Sometimes when he's talking to me, he would just snap. And I didn't know. Even though the Holy Spirit said to me, you are too far away from him. You're not talking the way you used to. But I ignored that voice until I see the attitude. And then I changed. So what I do then is,
okay.
in terms of our communication.
You made a point, but let me ask you people another question. Okay. Another question I would like to ask is, you ladies have heard these points that I will mention, like 10 of them. Is there any one of those points that as women you would think your perspectives need to be heard? Women's perspective need to be heard. Yes.
I was surprised about the makeup thing and you saying that the men expect us to be.
Can you imagine?
For bed.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
I was really amazed that they really expect that we look the same way in bed, And it still boils down to what you've been teaching about maturity for the women first before they get married, to be self-confident in themselves, to know who they are, to know how to make themselves beautiful without makeup, how to make themselves very presentable without makeup. And it boils down to how self-confident we are if we can go without the makeup and walk around with it. Why not? Yeah. Even in the house, even going to the shops, we don't really need to use the makeup all the time.
So that's what he's used to.
Yeah,
and
because so that he doesn't get so used to it.
Then he won't want that when he's sleeping.
It's when he's sleeping. They should be able to see us without the makeup.
But are women not afraid of being without makeup?
The problem is the maturity you're talking about.
If you know who you are, which is the main essence of this, if you know your purpose in life, this is just an appearance and mask. So if you have respect and value, because it's the inner you. And if you have that quality, and that's what the man saw in the first place, then he won't be looking for the man.
In the first place, do you think the man says that in the first place?
Well, if you grow up with somebody or you start dating someone, what comes out of them, their intelligence, the wisdom that you see, the inner person sometimes.
Men are attracted to the physical.
Yes.
Well, I know a greater part of men are attracted to the physical.
Yes.
But if you manage to get a man who is not that way inclined.
Yeah, if they're attracted to the physical, they need to see you natural as well.
They need to, before marriage.
Okay.
They need to. We shouldn't hide that from them. Not until they get married to you first before it becomes a big issue.
But not recognizing that it's a need for the man is not. I think women should recognize it as a need for the man rather than dismiss it.
Well,
so how do we teach the children?
You are hearing that for the first time.
I didn't know that.
She is also hearing for the first time.
I think we should
I've
be
always
natural.
believed them who I am.
We should be natural.
But which is good for you. It means you have self
so that
respect. It should be natural?
Yeah, I think we should be natural because sometimes I don't.
So why do you people complain that the men go out?
Exactly. Well, that's some ladies. To me, sometimes I don't make up, and sometimes I do. So my husband is used to that.
Pastor, the men might not be going out because of the makeup. The makeup, to be honest with you, is a small percentage of people that pay attention. It is true that when you see somebody for the first time, that impression is what is in your head. But like you said, any matured person, a man, should know that this person might not be like this all the time. Well, having said that, if my husband is going out because of my makeup, then let him say. So I can buy makeup and put on for him if that's what he wants. But it's not about pleasing him. I think it's more to what is going on in the house that makes men.
What about the lady? She just gave us an example, and I read about that as well. That men a man marries a woman. Then while they are still in honeymoon, when she removes all the makeup, the guy leaves and goes and divorce.
That's a very vain man, to be honest.
Yes, I agree.
The man has got a problem.
The man felt he was deceived because if you look at the
okay,
after,
now listen to that. Say it, please.
I said the man felt he was deceived, because if you look at the before and after, it was so drastic. You know, you won't even recognize a woman.
He hasn't got a purpose for his life
Maybe the man, maybe this is an example. It has come out. It's a one-off thing that happened. Fine, 1 in 3 million. But this is also
because he went and get a divorce. But a lot of them don't go get a divorce. But they are disgruntled and their attitude is different and they begin to treat her badly, which might be even worse.
But that's why we need teachings like this, especially in the churches as well, so that the female will be aware that before you get married, this husband, this guy needs to know who you are physically as well as with your mind. So that we should teach them how to be confident in themselves as well, so that they will be able to express their physical self the way God created them to any person without hiding behind makeups.
And the men also should ask questions. Honey, can you take off this makeup? Let me see. If that is the problem for the man. You should, it's a two-way business. There are things you need to know about me, and there are things I need to know about you. So if inside he feels, nah, I like this makeup, can you take it off? Let's see how it is, because if I see you in breakfast table, I might leave. Then you take it off, let him see you. If he's not happy, he walks before he commits himself to it.
Because it's a very different person you see without the denture. So let's be frank.
In this case, it was just too drastic, But normally,
no, it's not just in this case. I personally, I see even advertisements on Facebook, especially for Nigerian women, whereby before a wedding, they show the picture. They show the picture of the girl, without the makeup. And when you see the picture, have you not seen that thing before?
But I think at the moment there's this thing about making up. There's a fad.
I mean, almost every time the change is so drastic. Have you not seen those pictures? When you see the Nigerian woman wearing the dress, the girl, and the makeup, she is totally as if she's another person altogether. Have you not seen that?
So over a dating period,
she's supposed to show her own self.
Over the period,
it's kind of. I think the Americans, the female stars and the models, they're kind of talking about it and bringing it out. They're showing their natural face and the made-up face, and all of them, doing it. It was kind of a trend one time, but then so that you don't get confused and think they are that beautiful, that you are this perfect image. You want to live up to that image. They are never perfect. Nobody is perfect. Nobody's perfectly made up from.
You see them dressing down. You see them in jeans. You see them shopping with their family. So there's
nothing wrong with that. Period. There's no way you wouldn't. And then you appreciate the whole person.
But I think they're missing the point. Okay. If you married somebody, you're supposed to marry somebody unconditionally.
Yes.
So why
that
is
why
are we talking about?
That is the highest level.
Unconditional. Whether you are beautiful, you're not beautiful. The most important beauty is the inner beauty.
Yes.
So what are you even? Okay,
It's not the body you are
it's
marrying.
It's not the body,
yeah.
because when you start giving birth to children, that
It
body
will
will
go,
start
it will
going.
go.
Well, like-
Okay, what will sustain the marriage?
Yeah,
When you don't have the inner beauty.
For me, it's deception, and
So
it could be
they're
both
missing,
ways.
they're missing the
It
point.
could be both. I said for me, it's deception. Whatever might be termed deception, and it can be both ways. You know, a man might tell you he's working in a place, and he's not. You get married, you find out he's not
that
working
one
in
is
place.
proved.
Yeah,
That
but what
is-
I'm saying
that
is,
is,
it's deception. So as long as you don't
that
deceive
is
and
deception.
you're open about who you are. I
But
think
for the
that's
woman,
transparency
will I
is
call it
important.
deception for the woman? I don't.
Transparency.
Well, if you manage to do that
No,
for 6 months,
transparency.
morning, afternoon, night, when the man sees you, then that's deception.
Yeah, and you don't let
then
him
after
see you
marriage,
normal. Yeah.
then you are completely different.
Exactly.
Then that's
It's
So
a
you
form of
ladies
deception.
agree that that's deception?
It is deception.
If that's the case, yeah.
That's all he saw until he got married. Because I don't see how the woman will be the same morning, afternoon, evening throughout their dating period.
Yeah.
That must be deception.
That's
and after
deception.
marriage, all of a sudden, you're somebody different.
Yes, yes.
So it is deception.
That's a form of deception.
And like Pastor was saying, that we men also marry for the physical attributes as well.
Yes.
We shouldn't neglect that and think it's all in the mind.
Exactly.
It's not all about mind. We're learning now that they need to see that female attractive. So we have to present ourselves, even though we are married, even though we are having 3 children. If it needs for us to go back to the gym, if it needs for us to do our hair well, and we have to put the efforts, because at the end of the day, it's still you they are looking at. Even though you have a beautiful soul, they are looking at the person. Yeah, so.
I think it's very, very important. We can't dismiss it, ladies.
Well, that's one thing I've learned this morning.
No, but I think personally for the ladies, I take the position of what my sister is saying here. Have self-confidence.
Yeah.
Know your worth. Know your value. Because a man that is telling you now because of makeup is going to go or you don't look. I don't even fancy those men. I don't respect. There are some men. I have this case in my church here. It's not good. I mean, he was running after this girl for 5 years. Then when they were married, and she you know, then he said he discovered that she has a big tummy, a big stomach, and that he didn't see that because they didn't sleep before. You know, they are not allowed to sleep before marriage or something. So then he started telling her that no, I want to live with you, but you are not the type of girl that I'm used to when I used to when I was in the world or something. And that you go to the gym. So he would wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be sending that to the gym. You know, that is an offense to me because you're out of your way to win this girl over. Now you are telling her she's not good enough. She has to, that is wickedness. I personally count it as wickedness. For any woman, even especially after a woman has given birth, and then you are telling her she has to go to the gym to do. What do you think? So I think that, you know, when the woman has self-worth, because this other girl was also going 5 o'clock. She was waking up to go to the gym to run in the morning.
But Pastor, what you just told us should apply to that man in a subtle way and encouraging and motivating way. 2 of them can go. So if you
Yeah, he was going with her. He was going with her. They were going together, but still I felt very offended because, you know, because that thing that is not satisfied with. What about when she's pregnant? That stomach will become 10 times bigger. What about when she gives birth? You know, I mean, a woman must know her hand.
Know who she is.
That's what I'm saying. A woman must
All
know.
the other rest is addition.
Yes.
Pastor, you know that, right? Some people don't really have an idea of certain things. It all boils down to the communication, how you pass on this message. Because for the woman's health as well, you know, it might be a good thing. Now, the husband could be supportive, do it, look, we can do it. And in that form, the woman will not see it as an abuse, but support. Let's do it together. Because at the end of the day, to be honest with you, weight might not be so good because of some health complications. And we know that. But that woman might not even have an understanding. I don't care, you know, all those kind, I don't care attitude towards yourself and people around you. It's also neglect from the woman. So what do? We need to help each other. You know, for God's sake, if, for example, my husband has got high blood pressure, for example, and I do most of the cooking, I have to talk with him. I say, look, I'm going to put you on diet. I'm not doing it to starve you, but just to help you. And he has to be in agreement with that. When you work with people, you have to have a clear line of what you want to do, and you both agree to it. Then you help each other. That's how it should be. That's what I think. But I mean,
right.
I don't know. Well,
Pastor, I think it boils down to maturity. You said that we need to be mature on several levels, So even with the guy and how he's handled it, there's a level of immaturity there, either spiritual immaturity and maybe emotional immaturity, and maybe intellectual immaturity as well, because he could handle it better. And if he's spiritually mature, he won't address it the same way in which he's addressed it.
Well, it's time for church. Like we say, we have 45 churches, maybe 40 churches now in Kiev. But where we're going today is the central church, where Pastor Bossa is the senior pastor. So, but some people will come from other places, not. But just a general service, and then when we'll come back and meet again. We will start our meeting tonight after. So we have to go. And everybody, thank you so much for your time. It was nice to be with you. See you tonight. Bye.